Hi, my name's Avery Turner. I'm 17 years old, and I'm the primary youth coordinator at Wesley United Church in Welland, Ontario. Today I want to talk to you about mental health, but more specifically anxiety disorders. Anxiety, fear, and worry are regular human feelings, and in some cases they're adaptive and helpful to our survival. Most people feel a little nervous about a big speech, a job interview, or a visit to the doctor. But in anxiety disorders, these feelings are suffocating, extreme, and/or persistent. Anxiety disorder symptoms are also seriously interfere with a person's ability to function. Anxiety disorders include a variety of different mental disorders that are all associated with elevated fear and apprehension, as well as anxiety-related attitudes that obstruct one's ability to function in everyday life. Typical symptoms include physical complaints like sweating, trembling, upset stomach, difficulty speaking, intense panic or fear, and constant unwanted thoughts related to the anxiety. Now, there are 5 different types of anxiety disorders, so I'm going to talk about them all with you right now. So the first one is separation anxiety disorder, and this is a disorder of excessive and persistent fear of separation from home or from an attached individual. The second one is phobias. So these are disorders of intense irrational fear of specific items, events, or places, like heights, blood, or even insects. Then there's social anxiety disorder, and this is a disorder of extreme discomfort with social interactions or situations. Number 4 is panic disorder and panic attacks. So this happens when there's sudden experience of intense terror that includes sweating, dizziness, increased heart rate, and feeling like you are losing control or dying. And then finally, there's generalized anxiety disorder, and this one's the most common. So it's a condition of excessive, constant worry about a wide range of items, events, and topics such as health, money, relationships, and everyday life. So all of the type of anxieties that I just listed before are equally serious and should be taken seriously, although some are not widely talked about as others. I want to share with you a personal experience. I suffer with one of the types of anxiety talked about before, and it falls under the category of not widely discussed. So I have a phobia anxiety disorder called emetophobia. And emetophobia is a specific phobia that involves an intense fear of vomiting, seeing vomit, watching other people vomit, or feeling sick. And you're probably thinking, Avery, most people don't like vomiting, but this dislike is typically experienced within a certain moment of time, whereas people with emetophobia spend quite a bit of time worrying about people being sick, even if those around them or even themselves don't feel sick. Just the thought that someone could be sick is often enough to cause intense distress, and I can tell you that is very true. Some symptoms that I personally experience with this disorder are eliminating foods that I associate with vomiting, trouble breathing, tightness in chest, an increased heart rate at the thought of vomit, panic at the thought of not being able to leave a crowded area if someone vomits, persistent irrational thoughts linking an action to a past experience involving vomit, and, for example, I now associate Chinese food with being sick because my mom has a severe shrimp allergy and she got very sick after eating it one time. So that's the experience I link with that. And then finally there's shaking limbs, which is the most common and happens to me almost every time. People often experience phobias, including emetophobia, in different ways. For example, some people worry more about vomiting themselves, while others, like myself, worry more about seeing others throw up. So now that we know the general idea of what an anxiety disorder is, let's talk about tips that can help when we are in a state of anxiety. So the first suggestion I have for you is to take time out. Practice yoga, listen to music, meditate, get a massage, or just learn relaxation techniques. Doing anything that you love that will distract the thoughts you're experiencing will definitely help. And by stepping back from the problem, it helps clear your head. Tip number 2 is to eat well-balanced meals. Don't skip any meals. Although it can be easy to forget lunch or dinner or breakfast, you should try your best to make sure you're getting the right amount of nutrients your body needs to be healthy. Keeping healthy, energy-boosting snacks on hand is also a great idea. So, number 3, limit alcohol and caffeine, which can aggravate anxiety and trigger panic attacks. I would hope that if you're underage, you wouldn't be drinking alcohol, but if you do, it's definitely going to help you by stopping this consumption. As for caffeine, I can say that personally I find it hard to stop having my morning coffee. But as we've learned, caffeine can aggravate your anxiety, and it's just better not to take that chance. So this one I can't stress enough, and that's get enough sleep. When you're stressed, your body needs additional sleep and rest. Sleep is so important for your overall health. And I know how easy it is to just stare mindlessly at your screen, scrolling through TikToks or Instagram, but it will still be there in the morning. My next tip for you is to exercise daily. This will help you feel good and to maintain your health. I don't follow this tip as often as I would like to. With a busy school schedule, it can be difficult to fit exercise time in. But if you're a sporty person, this might be the tip you take away with you today. So these next two tips, I'm sure you've heard over and over and over and over again, and as cliche as they are, they really do help. So taking deep breaths, inhale and exhale slowly, count to 10 slowly, repeat and count to 20 if necessary. The next tip is accept that you cannot control everything. Ask yourself this question: is it really as bad as I think? This is something I say over and over in my head when one of my family members mention that they feel a little unwell. I say to myself, is this really as bad as I think? And if the answer is no, it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, then I proceed to do the above tip, which is taking deep breaths in and taking deep breaths out and distracting myself with something that I love doing. So the next tip is something that I'm not the best at, and my mom reminds me to try my best with this one a lot. It's to maintain a positive attitude. Make an effort to replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Once you get into the right mindset, things will start to feel better. Next, the two most important tips. Learn what triggers your anxiety. Is it work, family, school, or something else you can identify? Write in a journal when you're feeling stressed or anxious and look for a pattern. And talk to someone. Tell friends and family you're feeling overwhelmed and let them know how they can help you. If things are getting worse and you feel that you might not be able to handle the situation on your own, please don't hesitate to reach out to a professional. Most high schools, colleges, and universities offer mental health services for free. But if you're looking for something outside of school, stay tuned till the end of the video for my recommendations. Finally, stroking, hugging, or touching an animal can rapidly calm and soothe you when you're stressed or anxious. And who doesn't like animals? This is my favorite tip by far. But what happens when you don't have a pet like me? I have some goldfish, but obviously you can't pet them. So let's bring in our guest speaker and my best friend, Claire Marr, who is a part of Therapy Tales, to talk to us about this. Hi Claire, thanks so much for agreeing to take part in this video. Both myself and the viewers really do appreciate it.
No problem, happy I could be here.
I thought we could do a little informal interview to kind of get to know you and Therapy Tales a little better and the effects that the dogs have on real life people.
Sounds good to me. Ask away whenever you're ready.
So my first question for you is, how long have you and your family been a part of Therapy Tales?
Well, we have two dogs actually that are involved with Therapy Tales, our two Great Danes, Riker and Gracie. We've been a part of Therapy Tales since Riker turned a year old, since rules for Therapy Tales are, in order to have your dog participate, you need to have either owned the dog for a year if it's a rescue, or the dog needs to be a year old if you got them from a puppy. So Riker is now 5 years old now, so I started helping my dad when I was in the 7th grade. So we've been a part of it for about 4 years now.
Awesome. Could you tell us a little bit about Riker and Gracie and how you guys decided to have them join Therapy Tales?
Yeah, of course. Well, Riker and Gracie are both Great Danes. Riker is 5 now, Gracie just turned 4. We decided to join Therapy Tales because when we got Riker, we realized what a timid, sweet baby he was, and anytime we'd go anywhere, like on a walk around our neighborhood or even to the mall, like the one in Niagara-on-the-Lake where you can bring your dogs, people would always want to stop and see them. And we found out about this through my dad's one friend, Amy, so we were like, hey, why not give back to the community by bringing our dogs to old folks' homes and just to bring a smile to their faces.
Riker and Gracie are the cutest. This video, as you know, is about anxiety disorders. Have you ever experienced the effects your dogs had on an individual who is suffering with a form of anxiety or even other mental health issues?
Well, one specific woman that comes to mind is a lady who we call Nana Corey. She's a resident at one of the retirement homes that we go to. She was, at every visit, it would be in the lobby of the building, and she was always the first one there and the last one to leave. And we noticed that her family was never really there as often, so she was very clearly feeling lonely, but she was always so happy the second we walked in the door. As well, I haven't personally gone, but I know my dad has gone with Amy and her dog to an event to raise money for autism. And the kids really show a connection between the dogs, and they seem to trust them a lot more. And it just seems to really be a comforting thing for them.
What is your favorite part of being involved with Therapy Tales?
Well, I haven't been able to lately because of quarantine, but my favorite part was always going to the bigger events like pet expos and those kinds of things. All the different bigger events that we go to, like we went to a walk for the Humane Society one time. I just love getting to see all the different types of people and just seeing that mutual love for animals and the connection that humans have with them. It feels really good to be able to raise money for something that is giving back to the community.
Awesome. I want to end our interview with this question. What types of places do the dogs typically visit, which you kind of answered already, and how can our viewers come see them in a post-COVID world?
Well, we go to a lot of places. We go to all sorts of places like retirement homes, nursing homes. We go to schools and libraries for kids to read to the dogs. So kids, if you ever want to read to one of the dogs, if you get your parents to talk to your school or look at your local library's website, there's usually a spot where you can sign up to go read to the dogs. And we do a lot of bigger events, so if you keep an eye out in your area for bigger events and you look through the sponsors that would be there, we might be one of the people with a booth there. And even if you just go to our website, therapytales.com, you can easily just look at our calendar, and we post all of our events on our website. So if you can't find anything and you want to have an idea of what kind of stuff we do post-COVID, it'll all be on there. Thanks for having me, Avery.
So now that we've gone through descriptions of the different types of anxiety disorders, symptoms, way to cope, and all about Therapy Tales and the way the animals are helping, now I want to provide you with resources in our community that are working to help with anxiety disorders and mental health in general. Number 1 on my list is Youth Wellness Hub Niagara here in Welland, and you can find them on Instagram at YWH Niagara, but let's read over the services they provide. So up on the screen now I have the list of services that Youth Wellness Hub Niagara currently offers, and we're going to work through this entire page together. So starting off with the first on the list, they have a mental health therapist, and with this service you get access to brief solution-focused counseling, 1 to 3 sessions, dealing/coping with emotions, anxiety, which is the main purpose of this video, so I really recommend you check them out. Next is depression, stress, suggestions/referrals to other community-based mental health services, and this service is offered in both English and French. So the next on our list is nurse practitioner/primary care/healthcare, and with this you get sexual health/contraception, which includes birth control, pap test, STI testing and management, prenatal/postnatal care. Under physical health, you get annual physical exam, asthma management, skin issues, and under mental health again, we have anxiety/depression, ADHD and ADD, bipolar, PTSD, and borderline personality disorder. And once again, these services are offered in English and French. Third on the list is substance use counselor. And with this service, you get individual counseling for substance use and/or concurrent concerns, application of evidence-based therapies or treatment planning and referral, client-centered goal plans, and clinical assessments and referrals to other programming. And this service is also offered in English and French. Next, also relating to mental health, there's mental health caseworker. And with this service, they help you identify goals/objectives and plan to accomplish them. They help you with connection to community services and resources, and it helps with forms/applications for housing, financial aid, etc. This is also offered in English and French. Next is employment/education support. So they help you build resumes, interview skills, workshops, job searches, access to youth job board with local postings, one-on-one tutoring sessions, and proofreading. Last but not least, they offer recreational activities, so drop-in activities, fitness classes, arts and craft workshops, board games, and movie nights. I believe that they are really working hard to help the youth in our area, and that is why they are my top pick. I'm going to list off the rest of the businesses that I'm recommending, and feel free to stay to the end where I'll put up the links to all of their websites or Facebook pages. Alright, so I'm going to list through the next few services that I recommend you check out. So number 1, Niagara Counseling Services. Number 2, Niagara Region Mental Health. Number 3, Oak Center. Number 4, Gateway. Number 5, Pathstone Mental Health. Number 6, Children's Mental Health Services Ontario. And finally, number 7, CMHA. Links to all their websites will be at the end. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that you were able to learn something and were able to take away some information to apply to your own life. That's it for In Times of Anxiety. Please remember that you're not alone.